Hey, I'm Bob. I've been blind since birth and I'm into scary stories. Yes, it's October the 2nd as you're watching this particular video, and this is part two of my vlog-ish video series in which I talk about scary story authors, narrators, actors, and actresses in scary films who put good jump into me over the years and who still tend to do that to this day. And the guy we're talking about today, he's been in a bit of everything. I mean, he's been a narrator of audiobooks. He's been in animation doing voiceover work. He's been in video games. He's been in live action. He is none other than Tim Curry. And the first time I saw Tim in my own way was around age 7 when Stephen King's It was debuting on one of our basic channels, one of our three basic channels we had on our local, our little TV at the time. And I watched it for about 50 minutes. And I think I said something to my mom along the lines of, I'm not at all scared by this. 7-year-old me said this. I'm just going to get up and I'm going to go play with my Ninja Turtles because I'm bored with this movie. Yeah, I said, I'm bored with this. It's not scary at all. I'm going to go, I'm going to get out of here now. And I briskly walked into my room and uh, played with a nicer, friendlier sewer playset. And when I took a bath that night and was getting ready to let the water out of the tub, getting ready to pull the plug there, I jumped out of that bathtub so fast after I pulled said plug, my feet hit the floor. Luckily, I didn't lose my footing and land on my butt, but yeah, I stayed far away from that drain when I leapt out of the tub. And my mom was like, "What the heck are you doing in there?" And I was like, I'm playing like I'm Leonardo, jumping out of the sewer." And she was like, "Uh-huh, yeah, I know the score." And she did too. Nothing really got past my mom. So I think we taped parts one and two of the miniseries on VHS because my mom would rewatch some of the things that she really liked on VHS. If she liked something, she would tape it, you know. And I would watch that from time to time over the next year or so, rewatching some of the scenes that scared me until they didn't scare me anymore. And that was my first run in with Tim Curry. And it was funny. I had no idea how many animated series that he'd done work in around that same time. I watched Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates. It had to have come out around that same year because I remember being at my sitter's house that next spring, and for some reason Captain Hook he tended to chill my spine just a little bit, and I found out years and years later after gaining access to the internet that that was Tim Curry. When you're a 90s kid not able to read the credits, you know, because you're blind from birth, and when you don't ask somebody to read the credits, you kind of just have to go by ear. And I remember watching Captain Planet a few years later and hearing Dr. Blight's evil computer Mao, and something about that voice tended to chill my spine just a wee bit. Of course, that was Tim Curry. When I was 12, I got Nightmares and Dreamscapes by Stephen King. It was a 3-volume short story anthology. It had to be spread over 24 cassettes because that book was huge. And my favorite short story from that collection is narrated by Tim Curry. I think that's the first time I ever heard his name. And that's kind of when I put so many different performances from the past together, like, oh, that's Anton Savarius from Gargoyles, that's Mao from Captain Planet, that's Captain Hook from Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates. Because I mean, I knew um, I could put a voice to a name, but it was a bit more difficult to make those correlations unless I had the name to go along with the voice, and then, you know, to kind of do a bit of cross referencing in my head there, if that makes sense to anyone other than me. So I remember reading that short story from 11 o'clock at night to maybe 1 in the morning. It was around December 20th. It was an early Christmas present. And man, Tim Curry's vocal performance coupled with Stephen King's writing, it was one heck of a short story. It was a Lovecraftian romp through some weird alternate version of London in which things jumped out from tunnels, and I mean, you'll have to read it or listen to it yourself if you haven't. I would recommend listening to it around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Starting it, if you have a Friday or a Saturday, and if you're into audiobooks, listen to Crouch End, narrated by Tim Curry from that collection. There are a lot of other great stories in that one too, but man, Tim Curry just grabs you and he doesn't let you go until the end of the story. Boy, was he a great narrator, and he's done so much fantastic work over the years. I think one of my favorite vocal performances was Tim Curry doing Emperor Palpatine after Ian Abercrombie passed away. And Ian did the Emperor in the Clone Wars, the animated series, and Tim Curry had done that for about a season. And there were some scenes where he was performing a Sith ritual, and boy, I'd like to hear more of Tim Curry in Star Wars. I don't know, who's to say he has to stop with just Palpatine. He just makes a great Sith. He really does. And I mean, I don't know. I think it'd also be great in Power Rangers if they ever did a more adult themed show with a interesting villain. I think he's got such a great narrator voice, and he's got a great voice for antagonists. He does wonderfully at providing antagonists. I remember seeing an animated series. I don't remember what it was called, something to do with folks traveling back into biblical times, and it was around the same time I watched Peter Pan and the Pirates. And one of my grandmas got this one VHS tape where they go back and they're witnessing events from the Garden of Eden, and the serpent in that particular episode put a chill down my spine. And lo and behold, that serpent was also voiced by Tim Curry. So there you go. I mean, he's kind of been on my TV from age 7 to pretty much now. It's been kind of right there, standing by my left elbow, narrating and cackling and providing the voices for all sorts of spooky antagonists. And I think he's done a heck of a job. I hope he does quite a bit more. I think he's awesome at what he does, be it in animation or narration or live action. So that'll do for reminiscing about Tim Curry. I think next time we'll be discussing, who can we, Doug Bradley. Yeah, he's awesome. And I'm sure those of you who have seen certain series by Clive Barker know who that is. But yeah, we'll be talking about Mr. Bradley next time. He's another great voiceover person too. So be here for Doug Bradley next time. And in the meantime, be careful of sink drains and tub drains, and don't accept balloons from strange clowns. Okay, I'll hear you guys next time.